Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching Top 10's Net, and in the video today, we're looking at the top 10 reasons why E.T. was secretly a Jedi Knight. A lot of people simply assume that E.T. has all of his powers naturally, and are things that any other member of his race could do. However, take a step back for a moment and examine those powers. Also, think about the fact that E.T. may have been magical and mystical even among members of his own race. If you look at it in only that slightly meta regard, then E.T. may have had a lot more in common with a certain force-wielding order than he does with simply being an alien. And that's what we're looking at in today's video.
Number 10. Why did the aliens come back for E.T.? Once E.T.'s location was known, a rescue party was immediately dispatched. This is kind of a non-typical response as far as governments go. People are already talking about flying crews to Mars and leaving them there. Hostages in hostile situations sometimes literally stay in the control of the hostage takers for years. One alien lost on a distant dirtball planet might not be inconsequential, but it isn't exactly an emergency either. However, if E.T. had real value to the society, as possibly a Jedi Knight or Master certainly would, then the importance of locating and retrieving him at all costs seems just a little more plausible. After all, it is entirely possible that E.T. was special, even within his own race. Number 9. The Halloween scene is essentially a Jedi mind trick. Many people may not give kids a whole lot of credit, but are you seriously going to think that you can put a sheet on an alien and no one will notice that something seems just a little bit out of the ordinary? Really? There was no sound, stance, or odor that just happened to give him away? There was no dark outline in there at any point in time? At no point when candy was being delivered, no one checked out the wrinkled, seemingly 1,000-year-old hand? How did all this never manage to come up? Is it at all possible that E.T.'s free hands was actually waving during the scene? If you can convince people that these are not the droids you're looking for, then you might be able to get away with "I'm just a snot-nosed kid" like everyone else on this block. Number 8. The robe. As anyone coming out of a bathroom will tell you, there are a number of different ways in which to wear a bath towel. Very few of these fashion statements will actually make you look like a Jedi, unless, of course, you actually are one. Look at the way E.T. manipulates the wearing of the towel around him. This is a being who is clearly used to wearing a robe. Honestly, E.T. in the towel does not look much different from a Jedi in ceremonial dress. In addition, E.T. does not seem nearly as comfortable naked as he does when wrapped in the towel robe. That may very well be because that is the dress which he is used to wearing. Number 7. The midichlorians may have physical manifestations. It is entirely possible that the Force could have entirely different effects on different alien physiologies. More to the point, what if E.T. wielding the Force caused midichlorians to become visible? We already know that Jedi not only pay attention to midichlorian counts, but can also measure them. Is it such a huge jump in logic that midichlorians would become visible in some races when in effect? Specifically, E.T.'s finger and stomach both glow. These are not properties immediately visible in other members of his race. These might simply be a physically visible manifestation when E.T. is using the Force. Number 6. E.T. phone home. Not even an interstellar MacGyver could take a Texas Instruments toy and a few household items and reach a starship light years away. We are dealing with aliens, but what was E.T. doing with that phone again exactly? Consider the following for just a moment. Luke can call Leia through space. Jedi can feel other Jedi or other Force-sensitive people across far distances. What if we are not dealing with advanced communication at all? What if E.T. was phoning home by merely creating an object or totem to enhance his natural Force abilities of long-range communication? The signal that E.T. sent out may simply have needed amplification, and E.T. had to create a device to do it. Number 5. E.T.'s life force is tied to Elliot's. This is going to seem a bit radical to some people, but why are the Jedi essentially not allowed to love? Think about it. Everything that the Jedi do has a reason. Isn't it possible that through the Force tying luminous beings together, that the life force actually becomes intertwined? Think about the following scenario. At the end of Revenge of the Sith, Anakin is dying. He reaches out his hand to make a connection. As a direct result, Padme starts to die after giving birth to Luke and Leia. But why does she die? Afterwards, Palpatine informs Vader that he himself has killed Padme. Vader screams, "No!" and is in despair. Have you ever noticed that when it comes right down to it, the Sith do not actually lie? Vader knows he kills Padme. How did he do it? Vader used her life force to survive long enough to get to surgery, leaving her with nothing. E.T. does the same thing with Elliot. When the connection is broken, Elliot gets better, and E.T. has to take it the rest of the way. Number 4. E.T. uses the Force on the flower. Think about the scene where E.T. revives a flower back to life. Now remember what Yoda says in The Empire Strikes Back. "My ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you, here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere, yes?" Think about that for just a moment. All we have really seen the Force used for, in most cases, is combat. Pay attention to what Yoda says about it, though. There are many more applications than simple karate gymnastics. Through the Force, E.T. connects to the flower and makes it regrow. E.T. makes a connection between himself and the flower as equally luminous beings. Sharing the Force, they both grow. It actually seems to be a beautiful application of the non-combat part of the Jedi job description. Number 3. Does every member of E.T.'s race levitate objects? Can we review for a moment one of the most iconic scenes in film history? E.T. levitates and flies a bicycle across the sky. Let's assume for a moment that the aliens are not naturally superpowered, just like we are not naturally superpowered. Levitation of objects is a pretty common practice among the Jedi Order, since the Force exists everywhere and all. Yoda could apparently pick up and fly an X-Wing over a low level. If E.T. was a Jedi Master, then why would it be hard to fathom that he could actually sit on a bike and levitate it across the sky for a period of time as well? Number 2. Steven Spielberg allowed it to be so. E.T. the Extraterrestrial was a smash success and actually sold more tickets than Avatar. However, there was no sequel. As popular as the film was, the character was barely licensed or used for marketing. Why? Well, E.T. is a deeply personal movie to Steven Spielberg, which focuses on his feelings about growing up with an essentially absentee father. Do you really think that Spielberg would allow E.T. to be used as a joke or a simple sight gag? No. If E.T. was going to appear anywhere, there needed to be a fantastic reason. Establishing E.T. as part of the Star Wars universe might well be such a reason. And speaking of, number 1, E.T. is in The Phantom Menace. It's just a brief Easter egg in the Senate scene, but this does establish E.T.'s race is very much in the Star Wars universe. On these alien senators, you do not see any kind of glowing fingers or glowing bellies, do you? How do we know that such traits are even common among that race? If you acknowledge them as being in the Star Wars universe and accept that glowing appendages are not a normal occurrence for them, then you acknowledge them as being possibly Force sensitive, and that one of their own could definitely rise to the level of Jedi Master. If that's not enough of a mind screw, E.T. visiting Elliot on our planet a mere 30 years ago establishes that we are in the Star Wars universe, and there might well be creatures among us with Force sensitivity. So the next time you see some little tyke walking around wielding a toy lightsaber, they might not be playing after all. They might be practicing.
So what do you think of our crazy theory? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you agree or if you just found this video entertaining, do give us a like below, it really helps out. And don't forget to subscribe for brand new content just like this, 7 days a week, because we put out a new video every day. Also, over there on the right, a couple of other videos you'll probably enjoy if you enjoy this one. There's the top 10 actors who hate their own movies, and below that we've got the top 10 movie mistakes. So check both of those out, and thank you for watching.